before working with us, Nagina's business made $450,000, averaging about like 40K a month. And now this month, she's already close to having her first 100K in cash collected.
You told me something that really actually is the biggest reason that my revenue is over 100K this month. It's been very valuable to know where should I spend money. You were able to help me connect all those dots versus me being distracted and kind of going down a wrong path, which I would have because I already did when I didn't ask your advice. And sometimes if you make one wrong choice, it can cost you like $20,000, okay? And I did make some wrong choices. Harut helped me a lot just in the DMs of like giving me some good advice that I wanted to keep going in the conversation. And then, yes, if you feel like you could use some help, you're not losing anything by booking a call. Like you will get to a next level. I'll say it like that. You will get to a next level if you just trust Harut and the team.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to this interview.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing great, Nagina. I hope you are doing great as well. And to get to the point, let me tell you guys about Nagina. So she is the founder of masalabari.com. She has helped over 1,000 people with her company, and she's helping women over 45 to sustainably lose weight. She has been mentioned in the Times, in Wall Street Journal, and in many other very popular magazines. And she's doing an incredible job with her business and helping a lot of people. And we have been working together for the past several months. I think it's in a few months it will be a year already. And before working with us, Nagina's business made $450,000 last year, so averaging about like 40K a month. And now this month she's already close to having her first 100K in cash collected, with 171K contracted with her recent launch, which is awesome. And she's working with less people and making more money. And as a result, everything is like the business is way simpler as well. So today we are going to cover how exactly she did that. We're gonna like just reveal all the things we worked on together, the biggest lessons, the biggest mistakes. So if you are already making maybe anywhere from 10 to 100K a month and you want to scale, or you want to get to your first 100K collected months like Nagina did as well, then maybe you will find this valuable. So let's start with the first question. Maybe Nagina is tell people before working with us, like how was the business, how it looked like, because you were obviously already making money, you were monetizing already, but maybe you can run through the challenges that you have had, like in terms of how you were getting traffic, affiliates, the things that we have discussed together, and like the overwhelm, not knowing what to do, or what was the situation before, and then we'll discuss the things that helped you to improve as well. And thank you so much for being here. It's really awesome to have you.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be here and share all my learnings. It's just been really easy working together because it's really about ideas that you shared that take me to the next level. And so where I was last year was that I was happy, like I was in a good place, but my goal was to keep increasing and soon double where I was at last year. And so I didn't know what to do to take it to the next level. Like I knew I needed to keep doing some of what I was doing, but I wasn't exactly sure how to scale it. And then also I had a lot of ideas of other things that I should add into my business model that I was thinking, should I do that? And the other thing is that I had a lot of work. I was really busy because of the sales that I was making. So I really wanted to make sure that I didn't burn out and lose my energy, because then I've seen that happen and I've experienced that before. And then it would be hard to keep making more money. So I needed to understand how to be more strategic in my growth and not feel exhausted and overwhelmed and kind of confused about how to keep going and taking it to the next level. So that's where I was, but I also had a lot of ambition and hunger to, start off with doubling my business and then keep going from there, which you always encourage me. You always tell me that, oh my gosh, we're looking at a $10 million business. And because you saying that, I believe it. And it's nice to have somebody that believes in you, but also helping me make those incremental jumps. So
yes. That's so good. I appreciate you sharing it. And I can say from my side as well, before we get like even to more tactical things, so maybe it will be really valuable for people. I want to say that obviously like none of this comes from just magic, right? It's like you're incredibly hardworking person as well. And like you're an amazing entrepreneur and you definitely care about people, right? And that's what people see. And that's how you're able to charge a lot for your services and what you do. And we'll touch on that as well. But like, you can't grow your business if you don't have a good offer, if you don't show up, if you don't put in the work and execute. So strategy is one thing, but someone that will do what it takes to get to their goal is very important too, and you definitely have that, and you have proven it time and time again. So, and that's the proof of that is that you didn't have just one good launch. Like this year you had several, and now you have more planned by the end of the year, and there's a few months left, so I'm sure it's gonna be an absolute record month, and we will definitely in the next few years be on track to even scale to 8 figures or more. So yeah, well done on your side too, because you are a great client and you have shown up in a very good way too. And now to get to the practical things, so maybe to give a little bit context from my side to people. So a lot of these times for people at the similar revenue levels, right, what happens is that there are a lot of options, right? There's a lot of things that you can do, right? You can go on podcast, you can spend money on ads, you can try YouTube ads, Facebook ads, you can go on YouTube, on Instagram, on start a community, have another product so you can upsell people. Like there's so many directions, decisions that you can go to, that you can make to grow, that I think a lot of the times it becomes about what not to do rather than what to do, right? So I remember when we started, right, there were like multiple things that we were discussing, and I think the first thing we did, and maybe as a process it would be valuable for people. This sounds very simple, but the first thing is we actually sat down and we identify what already worked, right? So okay, we do this. For everyone watching, Nagina is getting all of her traffic from affiliates, right, or almost all of the traffic, which is a very interesting and cool business model. And she's doing lives, challenges, multi-day challenges. When then she's asking people to book a call with her, and she's selling a high-ticket product. And first thing we did is we identified that it's working, right? So then we said, okay, where the traffic is coming from, right? Because usually if something is working, if you get more traffic on it, it's gonna work. And almost all the traffic was coming from affiliates. So we sat down and we came up with a few strategies on how to get more affiliates, more good affiliates, and also how to get the affiliates that have been promoting us to promote us more often, right? And that simple change of identifying what has already worked and cutting out distractions and simplifying the business model helped us to do that. And then Nagina also recently increased her price as well, which significantly make a big difference, right? We also recently talked about obviously even amplifying the proof that you have even more, right? So having more proof in your lives, into the marketing that helps a lot, right? And it helps with the sales process overall. So that's the first thing you have done, right? Is we identified what works and we said, okay, can we do more of this, and can we cut the distraction? So this sounds simple, but maybe if you can tell people enough how it has helped you, and maybe your perspective on this, because there are a lot of entrepreneurs that will be watching this that maybe are where the similar revenue levers that you were at, and they are thinking that to grow they need to change everything. They need to change their entire business model instead of just simplifying it, maybe increasing prices, right, attracting better people, increasing your traffic, and making sure that you pick a simpler yet more profitable strategy like this. What would be your advice for everyone watching for how important it is to double down on the things that we already know work well in the business?
Yeah, this was so exciting doing this year together, because I wanted to. So I'm getting my traffic from affiliates. So my goal was to get more affiliates, but I was really having trouble figuring out how to get that. And I'd been trying for an entire year by myself to try to get more affiliates. And actually, my revenue last year was the same as the year before. And so I'd been trying to get more affiliates. I'd been trying to do all the things, and I was reaching out for help, but it wasn't really taking me any bigger than I was. And so when you and I started first talking, you really were, impressed, and you really knew that this was the way that was working. So the first thing you told me was, well, how are you getting those affiliates now? And how can we get more of those affiliates? Obviously, I've been asking myself the same question, but then you told me something that really actually is the biggest reason that my revenue is over 100K this month. And that is that you told me to look at investing in getting new affiliates as a marketing budget. And you told me, just like you'd pay for Facebook ads, if you'd pay $10,000 or $20,000, look at investing in affiliates for that. And so that was very different, because usually the way you meet affiliates, you get affiliates, is you meet them, you get to know them, you tell them about your offer, and they decide to promote for you. But you showed me, but then I had told you that there's a few people who I paid a little bit of money ahead of time just to say, hey, here's a little promise for you that you're going to get something. And so so you really told me to expand on that, and you actually told me to go and create like a budget that I felt comfortable with, and start paying people to introduce me to other affiliates. And that was such an out of the box strategy that nobody's ever told me, and no one, I don't think anybody will ever tell me. But guess what? I started doing it, and people started just like soaking it up. And they, like, when I offered them,
Yeah.
it's hard to get somebody to promote your programs, because if they don't know you, why would they want to promote your program? But then when
Mm,
I would go to new people and say, or people that I knew already, and I'd say, do you know anybody else? I'm going to pay you X thousands of dollars if you introduce me to somebody else. And so guess what? They said yes, and they introduced me
mm,
to like 10 amazing people. And then, not every single relationship works out, but say if somebody introduces me to 10 people, and then 4 people say that they'll talk with me, and then 3 people say they're going to promote for me, that's how I've been able to really grow my affiliates. And it's scary, because in the beginning I'm investing in something that I didn't know if it was going to work. And
mm,
right away, it's like you have to wait for someone to promote for you. Like, not every single person that promotes for you brings you business. But now it's all starting to work, and that's literally about 40% of this recent launch. And the reason it's my biggest launch is because of people that I got introduced to through this strategy. But now these affiliates are my affiliates moving forward. They got paid so well, and so they're going to want to promote for me in the future, and it's going to be an even bigger, more profitable in the future, even though it was already profitable. So that was really a big thing, to really figure out a strategy that was out of the box, but really doubling down on what I was doing, but in a way that resonates with people. And that makes, instead of just jumping and saying, oh, I want to go do Facebook ads, or I want to go, it's like, why do that? Why not just do more of what you're doing, but let's use a budget for what you're doing? So that has,
mm,
like I said, it's scary, but it was an
mm.
investment, and it is more than paying off. So
Yes.
that was really, instrumental. And then the other thing is really just to be more diligent in going through all the people that I have partnered with that know me in the past. The way that I've gotten affiliates is through partnerships, like me being on podcasts and keeping my relationship with those people, or me being on online summits, me keeping relationships with those people. But really to go back to those people, and keep approaching them. But the thing is, I already had done that. But then you told me you got to keep doing it again and again and again. So like, without that, it kind of seems that it is a lot of work to go and do that. But when you tell me to do it, I can see, oh my God, why wouldn't I do
Mm,
exactly what has been working, but put a little bit more effort into it? Maybe I get some help to reach out to people by email and be consistent with it, or maybe I find other ways to reach out to them too. And so we really talked about that. So it was very invaluable to get that level of focus and deep diving into how to change my strategy, or how to double down on my strategy, because I knew I wanted to, I just didn't know how. And I also was starting to veer into other directions. So instead of doing that, I just stayed focused with you, and was able to use these strategies, to just increase what was already working.
such a good tip, Nagina. I love that. Yeah, I think that the lesson for people watching is, and you explained it beautifully, is like the lowest risk strategy is always looking at what has been working and trying to put more fuel into that, right? Instead of trying something completely new. And of course, you need to know how to do it and do it properly. But the reason it works is because people like sometimes are afraid of like, hey, if it's working, but if I do it and it doesn't work. But like, as you said, if you look at it as a, as a budget, like you're gonna allocate, okay, let's say you are getting affiliates like you do. If you do spend more into that strategy by incentivizing more people to want to promote you, right? If you make it a win for other people to want you to win, then people will be more incentivized to do it, and it leads to that opportunity. So I think you executed it very well, and it works across everyone. Like if someone is getting their traffic from Instagram or from YouTube or from some other thing, if you do spend more resources into hiring smarter people there, right? Or literally doubling your content, like we're gonna 4x our content we're posting on Instagram and YouTube in the next few months already. It's like that's already going to pay off. So that's wonderful, and if you know how to execute it well, it's very likely to work. Now let's maybe talk a little bit about the simplicity side of things, right? Because obviously now once you figure out how to do more of what works and scale, sometimes there are things like distractions or things maybe that you did consider doing, or maybe some investments that you have made that maybe could have gone better that we have talked about. And like maybe if you can explain from your perspective the value of like keeping things simple, let's say having higher prices so you can get less people to work with but charge more, so like you can focus more on them and help them even more, right? So because at this level that you want to scale to 7 figures and then beyond, right, sometimes it can get overwhelming. So like maybe what have you done to make things less overwhelming? I know we have talked about it and you executed well too, of hiring that person that did help with every single launch recently for the last ones that helped you to free up your time to do more of these revenue generating activities, right? Maybe that, a combination of higher prices and also not being distracted, saying no to other opportunities, right? And what you have learned about that and the value of keeping things simple. What are your thoughts about that, and how has this helped you as well to grow, but also to make sure that while you grow, your business is still sustainable to run, right? You make it easy, like you make it possible to even scale.
Yes. So this is really making the decisions of what to invest in versus not to invest in. And sometimes if you make one wrong choice, it can cost you like $20,000. Okay, and I did make some wrong choices because I didn't actually talk to you about it. And I remember there's like a couple things I didn't talk to you about, and then you said, "Why didn't you talk to me about that?" And it did end up costing me. But so then every single time I come and talk to you about what am I investing in and what am I not investing in, so that we understand that opportunity cost. So one of the things I did invest in early on in the year, because you and I really talked about what my plan was for the year, and I was planning to launch more. That's another thing that I've done this year is that I've done my launches. I have 5-day events, 5-day live challenges where I teach every day. And I wanted to do more of them because every time they were creating, they were bringing more clients that I could help, creating more revenue. And so I wanted to do more, and I was able to get more traffic to each of them because I was meeting more affiliates and getting that traffic. So you really just foresaw that I was going to need more support with those launches. Otherwise, how could I launch so much? And I didn't actually think about that. And I didn't really want to spend more money like hiring someone. And I also didn't really want to train someone. And it just felt like a lot of work to me to do that. And but you were really straight out like, these are the things that you need to put into place, is that you have to get somebody to help you with your launches. It has to be like a launch assistant, so you take off all that work from your plate and then you can do more things. And then also it was about getting another coach in because my business was growing, and so I needed to really get that other coach in so that I could service my new clients in a way that was not draining me and becoming impossible. So when you're that person and you're the business owner and you're looking at, okay, hiring people, I don't always pull the trigger and say, yes, I'm going to hire this person, because then I'm going to put money into something and I don't know if I can maybe do it myself, if I can maybe figure it out. But what happened is I just did it because you had shown me this is what we need to do. And then in the future, you need to hire a salesperson, which that's my next step. So I did. I went and found someone, and actually after you told me that, I just started mentioning it to people. And then somebody told me, oh, I just hired this person that she's so good and she can also help you. So it ended up being easier than I thought, just because I knew what I wanted. And so I brought her on. She'd been vetted by somebody else that I knew, that I trusted. And I brought her on and I just trained her. Like, we met 2 or 3 times a week. And she just started doing things, just taking notes, started executing. And now now this year, she's fully trained now, and I'm doing 6 launches back to back right now, like bigger launches and then smaller downsell launches. And we have everything listed out. We have everything like in a project management tool, because she helped me create that. I did not have that before. And she's also helping me be more visible on social media, which I didn't have time to do either. So all of these things are starting to work together. And because of that, I'm also growing my launches. And now guess what? I have so much energy to keep launching. Like, I was just thinking, I only have a few more launches. And then I was thinking, there's 2 more months to the year. What am I going to do? I'll have nothing to do, in fact, whereas usually I'd be so just exhausted by that time that I couldn't even imagine it. And now I have energy. So, and I have the capacity to do more. So So that was a very successful hire. And if I hadn't made that hire, there's no way I would have the capacity to do what I'm doing right now, because I would have been just scared to make that hire. I think by myself at that time. So, and then getting my coach in, now I have enough people. Like my first coach is sold out. My second coach that I brought on is very nicely staffed with great clients. So that's in a good place. So that's where to make my investment. So I think that was one part. Now the other area that I want to share that is also extremely important is where not to make investments, because you hear all these shiny objects in the market. You hear, oh my God, I made $250,000 a month on Facebook ads, or I did YouTube ads and this is what happened. And so it's really hard to stay focused, right, as an entrepreneur, because you think, oh, let me just go do this. It'll be so much easier than, because it's not working what I'm doing. I can't figure out how to scale it. And so that's what happened, is that, I did make some investments in like this social media advertising, but then right away when you and I talked, you told me, why did you make that investment? You need to talk to me first. And of course you said it in such a nice way. And it was really my bad, because I should have brought that to you, but it didn't end up it ended up becoming more stressful for me, because I had this other form that was already working. And so it kind of distracted me from putting more time into what I had known was working. And so I actually spent, over $15,000 it was $15,000 of a mistake on this other avenue, that I just shut it down after that. I was like, let me just take this as a loss instead of just investing more into this. That's not going to work for me right now. So now, like recently, we just met earlier this week, and I shared with you some investments I was thinking of making. And I was really confident about these investments. They were kind of ways for people to get more warmed up to me before they talk to me on the phone. And you just told me, no, that is too complicated, what you're looking at doing. Simplify it. Instead of doing 10 things, it was going to be like a page and having 10 videos on it, showing so much evidence about working with me. You shared with me, just do one video. And I actually didn't think about that, because I thought that more is better, but actually it's not, because then it would have been so complicated, and also would have cost me more money. And so you shared with me not to invest there, and I just wouldn't have done that by myself. So it's been very valuable to know, where should I spend money, because it's not that you don't want to spend it, you need to invest, but you need to invest in these areas that will move you forward, versus these areas that are just going to complicate your life. And keeping it simple with the right support is how you can do more. And so you were able to help me connect all those dots, versus me being distracted and kind of going down a wrong path, which I would have, because I already did when I didn't even talk to you, for like when I didn't ask your advice. And so staying focused is a huge secret, I feel like, of a successful entrepreneur. It's just like, keep doing the one thing that's working, but also know how to go deeper into that one area, so you can keep doing it even better.
Such a great answer. I love that. And for everyone watching, it's like, if you analyze what Nagina is saying and why it works so well for her, is because it's like, at the end of the day, it's about, like, as the founders, as the CEOs of our companies, the number one job that we have is the proper allocation of resources, right? It is your time, it is your energy, it is your attention, and it is your money, right? These are the things that you can invest to grow the business. And because there's always unlimited things that you can do to grow, right? The problem isn't that there's not enough content out there. The problem there's too much content out there on what to do and what you can do, and you see all these ads all the time, or videos, and it creates this feeling of that we need to do that thing or this thing, right? And every single entrepreneur I know goes through that, in some at least seasons of their career. And I think the biggest skill is just knowing where to invest your resources, right? Properly allocate them. And if we look at this situation, what you broke down very beautifully is like, in one instance, right, we made some investments that maybe didn't go as well, which is fine, right? And that's why, by the way, it's the value of having a mentor or working with someone, because they can tell you, right, like what works, what doesn't work, what works for their clients. So just compress time, right? You make less mistakes and you don't get distracted. And it's not about like not making mistakes ever, but it's about if you can like save yourself 3 months of you going into a direction that you shouldn't have gone, or making this investment, whatever, how much quicker can you accomplish your goals, and with how much like more certainty. I think that's the biggest thing. And if we look again at this situation, we have made some investments that that if we reallocated somewhere else, we could get better results. But as you said, like from there we had the lesson of us discussing these things first, and then me sharing my perspective. And I think the win is that recently, you didn't go towards the directions that, and you didn't do it again, which is very valuable. So all of us are gonna make mistakes, but I think working with someone will compress them into so much less mistakes than you would make on your own. And especially if you're already someone with momentum, someone that is already making money, each mistake is going to cost you so much more, right? Because you have the opportunity cost, as you said. And then if you are able to, again, allocate the resources properly, which you did in a lot of the cases as well, like hiring that person that saved you all this time so you can spend more time into the revenue generating activity, right? Which for you is doing the lives. That was a wonderful thing, and getting more affiliates as well. So I think for everyone watching is you need to look at, you need to be very careful where your money goes, where your time goes, where your attention goes, where your focus goes. And if you reallocate those into the things that are working and you take them deeper, as you mentioned, it's very likely that you'll grow, right? In this case, again, we have seen what is working, affiliates, right? How can we put a strategy together to get more affiliates promoting us and more often nurture these relationships, right? And after that, okay, how do we increase prices? How do we nurture the people? I know that you have the funnel in school now where you have a person in the DMs booking some calls. You had a recent, I think, high ticket sell from that too, which is great. But yeah, we won't get too much into everything because then this interview will be 5 hours long. But there's a lot of things there. But the main thing is getting the traffic, getting more traffic in, and saying, okay, what am I spending my time on that I can outsource or delegate or hire someone? And you go and do that, and now you have more time to spend on those revenue generating activities, right? This in the combination of knowing what not to do, right? Where to not allocate your resources is so important because our resources are limited, right? We all are busy. People have kids, families, business, clients, content, lives, sales calls, sales teams, problems, random fires you need to put out in your business. So it happens to every single entrepreneur. So we can't afford to just make the same mistake over and over again, or to, if we can actually save ourselves from making the same mistakes by just talking to someone and exchanging a 1 hour conversation for months and months, or tens or sometimes hundreds of hours into putting into something that wasn't gonna be the best strategy, is so worth it, right? That's why I keep working with people that I learn from. And I invested hundreds of thousands of dollars to do that, because a lot of the times it's about what not to do, right? What not to do, to simplify it so it becomes clear, it becomes simple, so you're not overwhelmed, you have clarity, you know what to do, and that gives you that confidence to go and do more of what works. Hire the people, spend more time on the revenue generating activities, right? And that simple mindset is very important, especially nowadays when everyone is distracted, including us. We all get distracted, but the marketplace is so distracted so much because of more content than ever, AI, different strategies, right? So many, so people are overwhelmed. So if you can just simplify it and you can focus, nowadays it is even a bigger competitive advantage, and I think it will continue being so. So yeah, I think this was wonderful. The key lesson there is, proper allocation of resources. How can we maximize the time we're spending on what's already working, on the things, the activities that are already generating revenue, and if we do those consistently, we can grow. And a simple exercise I recommend for people is asking themselves, if I can only do one thing, if I could not do anything besides one thing in my business to make money, right? What would I keep on my list, right? If you ask yourself that question, very fast you have the answer of what is actually making you the most money. For you, it's doing the lives, right? If you could only do one thing, it's sending the emails out and planning a live and doing it, right? And pitching it so you can book calls. So if you think about it this way, if I could only spend 2 hours this week on something and I want to grow as much as possible, what would that be? There's a great question to have your list of priorities to know what is actually making you the most money. And this way you can say, okay, what's stopping me from putting 5, 10, 20 times the effort into this and growing? And you look at what the constraint is. I can't do enough live because a lot of my time goes into this technical side of things. Okay, we can hire someone like we did here, right? And you can do that. So it's very, very powerful. And I think if you're watching this and you literally do this exercise and you focus on what's working and you eliminate the distractions and you work with people that are already where you want to be, and you that helps you to avoid mistakes, and you show up and execute consistently, which you have been doing. This sounds a lot, but it's in reality it's way simpler. It's at least simpler than the alternative paths. You will grow and you will get to where you want to go. So I think that's very, very important. And on this note, so that was very good. I loved how you broke it down. I love how you think about it. Like you are very good at making the decisions in your business, executing, and that's a big part of why you have grown so much as well. Based on this note of like avoiding mistakes and choosing who to work with, obviously there are like a lot of people that are out there that now sell things, and like including the people that you bought from. Right? Again, nothing against them. Like I understand, like it's not gonna work for everyone. Everything. It's not that our clients, all of them, become trillionaires in a day, right? No, results vary, so that's okay. But it's still important to choose the right person to learn from or to work with, right? So it was a long time ago. It was like months and months and months ago. So I don't know if you remember, but if you do, maybe if you can share with people, like what made you, like, did you hesitate before you work with us? And like, what made you to say yes? I remember we had a call, we talked about it, and then you decided to get started. And do you remember going back, like what made you to say yes, like I believe in him, or I want to work with Harut or work with Achieve Greatness? What was that thing? What resonated the most with you that made you, to make the decision to invest into yourself? Because it's not always an easy decision.
Yes. Well, I watched a lot of your videos that you were posting in school. And I mean, knew of you because there was another, a woman who's so great. Her name's Alexa. She's on YouTube. And so I was learning about YouTube, and then she had said that she was working with you, and she had a huge growth in her business. So
Yes.
then I said, like, who's this guy that told her about like increasing her business so much? Because she just had like hundreds, thousands of dollars. So then I started following you. And but then I mean, I just started following you because I'm not going to just say, oh, I want to work with him right away. I need to like hear it for myself. So then I started listening to your school lives, and I just started seeing the ideas that you were sharing were really like beyond your years. Like I feel like they're very like they're very wise, and they're very out of the box creative, but yet very like related to what somebody is asking for. And so they were just like it would. And then you're working with the top people in the industry like Alex Hormozi, and you're like the top of the school challenges. So I knew that you were getting information from really great people, but you were also communicating it in a way in any situation where you were able to just advise on what was happening. So I had just heard you for a little bit, and then you like sometimes I remember that you would ask for us to DM you something. So I would DM you, and I would keep waiting. When is he going to answer me back? When is he? Because I was like waiting for your answer because I felt like, oh my gosh, I need to have his input. And then you offered a way to work with you that I felt like I could do. I felt like, okay, let me do this. Let me try it because I researched. The thing is, I come across so many like business coaches and so many people. I mean, I've been doing this for over 10 years, so I see it all the time. But the actual ideas that you were sharing were really above and beyond anything that I was hearing. And so in addition to what you were sharing about prioritizing like what's working, in addition to that though, you also need to have those ideas. And so because I was doing what was working for 2 years, I kept doubling down, but then I couldn't figure out how to get to that next point. And then you really opened it up for me by saying like, why don't you do it in this way? Why don't you spend money and put yourself out there more than you already are, when I already felt like I was, but I wasn't in the right way. So I feel like you need to prioritize as a first step, but then you need to get the ideas from the people that you think are smart enough and you respect, and you're seeing them get results for people, because that can actually elevate your business to a whole different place. It's really hard to think differently. You need ideas from other people to like brainstorm with, to advise you. We can't do everything ourselves, and once you start reaching out for help, it really takes you to that next level. So that's how I started. I listened, I heard, and I was like, he is really teaching. I listened to like your whole 14-hour webinar that you put together. I listened to all of it. And believe me, I'm hearing a lot of stuff on the internet, but I made time because I'm like, this is so good. So I think like just the way you keep sharing, and but you actually have those ideas that are different than other people out there, and that are really working and that are really authentic to what the person needs. So
thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate that a lot. It really means a lot to me. So yeah, and on this note, obviously, what like there are definitely will be people watching, and that maybe are at a similar stage that you are, like you were making maybe anywhere from 100 to $500,000 a year, that want to scale to like $1 million or more, and then from beyond. So what would you tell them, like? What would be your recommendation would you recommend them to consider working with us, or at least learning, like maybe to do what you did, right? To check our content, see if they find it valuable, and if yes, like book a call, and if they qualify, then talk to us to see if we can help. So what would be your suggestion? What would be your message to those people that are watching?
Yeah, I think that that you have so much education in your classroom in school, and I would say go to the classroom and look at the one or two or a few trainings that you feel speak to you, and watch those. And then if you want to come to some of Harut's like live events that he does, like live sessions, you could do that. But I think that classroom is actually like gives you so much. And I think like having a conversation in the DM to start is really helpful, because actually Harut helped me a lot just in the DMs of like giving me some good advice that I felt that I wanted to keep going in the conversation. And then, yes, if you feel like you could use some help, there's no hurt, or you're not losing anything by booking a call. Of course, I know I think you have to qualify. So, and then having that conversation, and then maybe actually thinking, oh, this could really help me. Because I know when I was on the call, I thought, do I really need this? I've already joined other things. I don't know if I need another advisor. And it was like the best choice that I made, and it wasn't really a risk. It was more of it was an investment now when I look back at it. But when I was doing it, I felt like, oh, is this a risk that I'm taking? But it was very an educated risk, and it's like you have to go out of your comfort zone in where you're investing in order to get your business to the next level, and to get anything to the next level. Actually, you have to get out of that comfort zone and go towards something or someone that you feel like is there already, or is a little bit ahead of you, that can guide you, or is a lot in front of you that can educate you on how to get there. So like the actual real exact steps to take is very important. And so if you have that personalized attention, it makes a bigger difference than like general programs or general calls. If you have someone like listening to you for 45 minutes and advising you, you're going to get further. And it's just another investment that's going to pay off. I mean, it helped me, it completely is helping me. And I'm very discerning about who I invest in, and what I usually do. So just kind of make your own decision, but know that you actually can get to a new level. Like you will get to a next level. I'll say it like that. You will get to a next level if you just trust Harut and the teams.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And I think that's great advice. It's like, I always, whenever I invest into something, I first check their content, right? I check what's available about them. And then like, if I do like it and if it already resonates, there's a very high chance that I would like their program too. So I learn about it, but I think it's a very good advice. So thank you so much for all the kind words. And definitely, like, we have a video about where I walk through people. I talk to all the other people who have helped, how we actually help people. And you are right, our programs are personalized. Like, it's not just a course people watch only, but it's mainly personalized, customized programs that allow you to make the right decision for you, because each situation is different and you want to know what to do in your situation, right? Because results vary and situations vary as well. So we have a personalized program, so there will be a link definitely in the description. If you're watching this on YouTube or wherever else, I'm sure you will find the link. It's a video. I break down everything step by step. It will teach you a little bit more, and if you watch that video and if it resonates, right, then you know that it would be a good step for you to potentially apply and to see if you qualify, then to see how we can potentially work together and to scale. So you can check it out. And I appreciate you for all the kind words. And of course, none of this would be possible without you executing and you taking action. And like, you have had a very successful career with your business. You have helped so many people. I think it's like 1,600, right? You have done so much for the industry, and you have grown your business a lot too. So you are doing incredibly well. And I'm sure that there's a lot of mistakes you have made, a lot of lessons that you have learned in your entrepreneurial journey overall. So maybe what would be your advice to people as well, like from your experience, because you have accomplished so much in life already, and I know that you are gonna grow so much more. So this is truly just the beginning, but from everything that you have done so far, it's incredible. So maybe, I don't know, what would you tell to your younger self that started in business and wanted to get to where you are, or maybe like to people watching overall? It can be anything that comes to your mind. It can be mindset, tactical, strategic, anything. But like if you had a couple of minutes to, talk to your younger self, what advice would you give them to help them to get where you are, but to do it maybe faster or with less mistakes, with less sacrifices or less pain?
Thank you. Yeah. Well, thanks so much for those kind words too that you said to me. So I would say that yeah, speaking to my younger self that was just starting. Well, first of all, something really right I did is that I am really passionate and almost obsessed with helping people lose weight. Like I personally lost 40 pounds, and it completely changed my life. Like now I can run. I can run so much. I snowboard. I can swim with my children, bike with my children, setting a healthy example. So it's actually something I'm really passionate about that I can talk about all day and help all the people that need it. And I just really genuinely want to help them. And I feel so happy when I see their results. So actually choosing an idea that lights you up, that you love, is going to take you for the long haul. And it's just, you're just going to keep building and growing because you're never going to get tired of it. And I'm always researching new information because I'm always trying to help myself. And then I take that information and help others. So it's not work to me. Like I just feel like I get to live my life talking and helping people, doing the thing that I love doing every day. And so, I think that's a very core thing to understand. What are you passionate about? What are you excited about so that you keep doing? The second thing I do want to share that really would have changed my trajectory and made me accelerate so much faster. And this is for me, this is what worked for me. I don't think this is something everybody should do, but when you're starting out, it takes more effort and money to actually get traffic and to get more leads. And so if you actually just look at the revenue equation of price times quantity equals revenue, if you don't have as much quantity, so if that's low and you have a higher price, that's going to equal a higher revenue than having both things low. If you have low quantity and low price, it's both of them are going to be low. So where I started was that I started with one-on-one coaching that was high price. That was a fairly high price, not what I do now because I'm so much more experienced now, but it was fairly high price. It was like more like in the 2K range at that time. Which was like 10 years ago. And so I was able to grow my business and go to over 100,000 a year, within a couple years. It still took time. But I was able to get there. But then my goal had been to do low cost digital products because I wanted to kind of step away and not be so involved in coaching. And by doing that, my revenue just dropped for years because my leads were not as high. And then my price was lower. And so once I started looking at the numbers, I started realizing I need to bring back in that coaching and that high end premium programs. But then I found a way to make it instead of having my calendar completely blocked, I found a way to have a hybrid program so that I could do some group coaching, but then a little bit of one-on-one that wasn't as intensive, but I could charge higher prices. And then from there, with my experience and my testimonials, I've been able to raise my prices to almost three to 8 times that, what I first started at. And that's another reason that my revenue is growing as well, is because I keep increasing my prices due to my experience and due to all the testimonials that I'm getting of women that have lost weight when it was so hard for them to lose weight before, and doing it in a sustainable way where they can keep going. So I really think the premium way of starting with higher ticket programs, and learning how to sell by phone is going to escalate you and take you faster, take you further faster. And then you can always add in. I do have some digital products that I add in. It's a lower part of my revenue. So that would kind of be my advice to my younger self. I would say skip over those digital products or make them later. First, get your high ticket program in play, get the right resources, don't feel like it has to take up your whole calendar, and then add in the lower ticket program, because and then by that time you're growing more leads, so it's okay for you to have more of those digital kind of like lower cost products. So that it's important to understand the numbers behind your business model and see, how do I get to where I want to get to? What do I need to do to get there?
Yeah, such a good advice. It's like everything you shared today was actually very practical. Like for people, I really love it because like you are so right. And if I look back, it's like so many people make the mistake of like trying to make their business like scalable in the beginning when they don't have momentum, but like maybe you should get to the first 7 figures or multi 7 figures in a way that is unscalable. So like you actually do hands-on work, and if you do want to do hands-on work, but like the problem is that you don't feel like you are getting paid enough for that, well, increase the price, right? And I think that's such a, even till this day, it's such a underused method. It's like if you learn to sell, if you target people that are really serious and are ready to make an investment into themselves, you will work with less people, get them better results, would be so much more excited to over deliver, and your business would be so much better. And I agree with you can add those things later, like, and we have done this with so often with people. So like this works with Alexa even. That's how she was able to grow, and so many other clients as well. And it's just about getting more proof in, like 100%. We have discussed this today recently together as well, how important it is, right? Working with people that you want to work with, like doing something that you love, that you are truly passionate about, that will help you to do this consistently, get good results, testimonials, and then you can use those to actually justify a higher price, right? And charge more and provide more value, instead of saying, hey, I want to just like sell $1,000,000 things and not do anything. Like it doesn't work in practice. In practice, nowadays too much information is accessible almost for free or for free with AI and other things. So you want to, the way that you will stay down is if you give hands-on support to someone, right? That's how our program works, your program works. That's what people are buying from us, because we do, yes, it's not cheap, but we do provide a lot of value, and the person achieves their goals because that's what they are after, right? If they don't want it to be cheap, they want to get to their goals, and for the right person it's worth it. And charging a lot allows you to go and over deliver for these people as well, and then your content, events, whatever, helps everyone else for free, And I think what you said, which was beautiful as well, the first point, is that you need to love it. Like if you don't like it, I love this. Like this, I love doing this, right? You love to do what you do. So it's about, if you don't like it, if you are doing it just only for money, you're gonna burn out. It's not gonna work unless you have some crazy motivational why and you don't care. But most people do care, and they do get burned out if they don't believe in what they do. And to be frank, like for us to even be able to help someone, they need to be good. They need to be good at what they do. They need to be a real expert that believes in their mission and is focused on helping and serving people. And if you're someone like that watching that, and you are already charging a high ticket or want to get into it, or you're already doing it and want to scale, I think these are some of the best results that we get for people. So it's a very good advice from me. It's like, that's what works. Not just your opinion, not my opinion, data. Like if you look at the cross data, these are the people that win. And for full transparency, we have people that are like, they have millions of followers and they're selling communities or MRR modules and making money too. But if I look at patterns, it's so much more common for someone to be a real expert that is already monetizing and charging a lot, that they want to increase prices again or like get more traffic and grow. So that's very, very common. And that's like if I started again, that's exactly what I would do, right? And you're right, you can do these other things later. But yeah, if you're someone watching this and you do like what you do, that's very important. You're actually legit. You are making money already, have proof, and want to scale. I think that's like, we can definitely help you. So go check out the video and see how we can help. And if not, then just keep going, take massive action, and you'll get there too. And that's the last lesson that let's wrap it up on. It's like I'm sure that over time there were some moments that weren't easy for you, right? Because you're a mom, you have like responsibilities. There's so much. There are so many things in business. So the biggest thing is at the end of the day is to not quit as well. Which of course, loving what you do will help you to not quit. But it is very important. So if you're watching this, if you can get one last thing away from this, maybe we can both agree on, if you agree with this, which is don't quit, right? Don't stop. Set a really big goal that excites you, that it's meaningful to you, and go after it. We have one life, so you want to just like give it your all, right? Go all in and just don't stop. And if you do that, then you are gonna win, because hard days will happen. But if you, like as they say, hard times don't last, hard people do, right? Or whatever. It's like, just don't stop and you'll get there. Like none of this is just sunshine and rainbows. It's not easy. And if you see successful people like Nagina, like so many other people we have helped, like there's a reason they succeed as well. It's because yes, everything works, strategies, this, that, but you also need to show up and not quit. So there's one thing you can take away from this is that. So go and take massive action, don't stop, and let's achieve greatness, right? Achieve greatness. That's the name of our company. All right, appreciate you a lot, Nagina. You're amazing. I'm gonna leave all the links in the description to all any resources about you, so people can go check out and find what you do, because what you do is really awesome. And thank you so much for being here. I'm sure this interview is gonna help and inspire a lot of people. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, see you soon, everyone. Of course, see you soon.